I think we're rolling.
I think so too.
I see the red light blinking.
Is the number moving?
I don't know. It's such a small camera.
Let me see if the number's moving.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, do you think it's moving?
There
There it is, it's moving.
All right, everybody, welcome to Poppa Paints. And Robin is joining me today.
Hi.
And Robin is a very, very, very important part of today's Poppa Paints.
Well, thank you.
Because the questions that you all, well, maybe not you all, but I've had a lot of questions, Robin, from the viewers of Poppa Paints to ask about the work that I've done illustrating children's books.
Yes.
And so I have here some of the questions that you guys have sent in.
Nice.
And I'm asking Robin to be part of this because I did not do these books by myself. No. And there's a lot of them. Wait till you see. Just a lot of them. So the first question we have, Robin.
Yes. Oh, we should say the date, right?
Go ahead.
It's February 3rd, 2025. I even pronounced the R in February. That's his pet peeve.
It is.
February.
There's an R. It's not February. All right, listen.
Okay.
The first question is how and when did we start? Okay, so I know you don't want to know when we were born, so we're not going to go back that far.
No.
But here's how we got started with children's books. That's probably a good starting point.
Okay.
So it started off because when I was young, like in my teens, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be the next Bob Dylan or the next Beatles or the next whatever. So I played the guitar and I learned how to memorize songs, and I went out and I played colleges up and down the East Coast. Well, guess what happened in 1986? My son was born. And after he was born, I didn't want to be out there on the road anymore. I wanted to be home.
Yes.
And I live in Ocala, Florida, and in 1986, there wasn't much work here. So I tried to figure out, well, what could I do but not be on the road so much? So I thought, well, I'll do children's music. Because, after all, I had a child.
That's right. You and your wife did.
So I wrote a song called... was it the ABC song?
ABC song.
I don't mean the one that everybody sings.
Oh,
I wrote.
But you did What You Gonna Do.
What you gonna do when the dog comes home?
And the cat's
in the kitchen on the telephone. Yeah. All right, so it was around there, and I said, okay, I'm going to do children's shows. And Robin was a friend of the family, you could say.
And I had 2 children at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was going to
9 and 7.
play at a local school. It was a handicapped school, and the school's name is
Hillcrest Academy.
Hillcrest Academy. I was going to play there, and I was telling Robin I was going to play there, and I said, do you want to join me? So she said yes. So we did a show at Hillcrest, our first show. We did not call ourselves Robin and the Giant at that time.
No.
But shortly thereafter, while taking a shower alone, don't get any ideas.
He's married.
I was home, but I had this idea.
Yeah.
We could be called Robin and the Giant. No jokes about me thinking of that name while I'm in the shower, by the way. But I just thought Robin and the Giant sounds so cool. So I called up Robin and I said, do you like the name Robin and the Giant for us as a team, like if we're going to do more children's shows? Well, long story short, that's what we took on, that name. And we wrote songs together.
Yes.
And we recorded CDs. I'm not CDs, cassettes.
That's correct.
We recorded cassettes.
Yep. And we also wrote a musical stage production called West Parnell Lane.
Right.
And the children at that time were all involved with it, and they performed it.
Yeah.
All the proceeds went to muscular dystrophy. Nobody kept anything, and it was wonderful.
So Robin and the Giant, the show that Robin and I created, the live show, we took that show to schools all over the state.
Yeah.
I don't want to say all the way to the Key West, but probably from St. Augustine as far north to maybe Palm Beach far south. And kind of everything in between. So we did a lot of shows for children.
Ungratis.
Live shows. Ungratis. This is an important part. Because if you don't know Latin, Robin loves that term.
I do.
It means for free. So guess what happens when you do things for free?
Yeah.
It's hard to keep going.
Yeah.
So I got a job at a radio station. Because after all, I knew some people in radio because I had been in music. And I got this job in radio. Well, let's fast forward a couple of years. And now the radio station that I was working for was kind of flailing. They didn't have much money. And they pretty much let everybody go.
Yeah.
Except for me.
You're the man.
Because I was the workhorse.
That's right.
And I had to sit in there on Sundays, and I didn't put the microphone on to talk. I just played recordings of like church programs on Sundays.
Yeah.
Well, the boss wasn't paying me
Sunday.
For Sunday. Oh, he was paying me for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
But I said to him, "Hey, instead of getting paid, could I have 1 hour of time to put on a children's show on the radio?" And he said yes. So then Robin and I created Robin and the Giant, the radio show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And I got my phone here.
Yes, you do.
I want to give you a sample of what it sounded like, because we later on, years later, we created a podcast called Storybook Railroad.
And you can find that on robinandthegiant.com.
Oh, can you?
You can.
Oh,
Sure.
I
You've
didn't
got
know that.
all our episodes there that we recorded, and we didn't just record the
Okay,
stories.
so
we
listen.
wrote.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Storybook Railroad, brought to you by the world of robinandthegiant.com.
Robin, I love coming to the dog park. The dogs are so much fun to look at, aren't they?
All right, so that
Look at him running out there.
With sound effects and everything.
we had sound effects. It was a big production.
It was. Took 2 days.
Took a couple. We did it on a we did it on a 4-track, a 4-track reel to reel. I think it was at that
Yeah.
time.
Sure.
And anyway, so we did our show. Every week we put out a new one. And then Robin did something that was just unbelievable. She contacted Digital Cable Radio,
Yes.
and she got us on that.
On the 4Kids Only channel.
And that
1 hour specials.
that was national. In fact, it was international. And it was the predecessor to Sirius XM Radio.
Yep.
That's how that got started. And
that
we were
was the
on
beginning.
there.
Yeah.
So-
We were asked to do one hour special every season. So
Okay.
4 or 5 a year. Great.
So when and how did we start? There's the answer to that one. How did the radio show start? Oh, we just answered that one.
Yeah.
When did you publish your first book? So this is a very thick book, but there's no pictures in it.
No.
So let's explain that. So this is called The Gift of the Barking Frog, and Other Gifts from the Heart. 56 short stories for children and other deep thinkers. And if you look at the credit, it doesn't say Robin MacBlane and Larry Whitler. It says Robin and the Giant.
Yeah. So proud of that book.
So when we did the radio show, we did it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because we each wrote a story a week.
Locally.
So
Yes.
that's 2 stories a week.
And it was a 1 hour radio show on Sundays. So we each had 2 stories. We wrote songs to follow the story. We had songs interspersed in dialogue, and a lot of fun. And
Right.
sound effects.
So it's all audio.
Yeah.
So after a couple of years, after the show was gone, after it was off the air, well, we weren't doing it anymore. We had all these stories that we didn't know what to do with. So we decided to publish them into a book. So this is 56 of our favorites.
Yeah.
There were probably another 100 or so that are probably lost forever. But I'm
Yeah.
really thankful that we saved 56 of them.
Yeah, we had the foresight to do that.
And we printed them up. All right, then, what was the next book? Okay.
Well, the very first book you wrote was for your son.
Oh, I wrote a book
for
for my
young
son.
adults, Oreo and Braun, and you wrote that in 1995.
Yes. Zob, The Full Circle Quest is the name of that. It's a novel for
Yes.
young readers. And my son was 9, and he gobbled it up. He ate that. He read that in no time.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then, when was your first illustrated book? Well, the first illustrated book was not our book.
No.
It was this one, right? When the Trees Held Their Breath. by Anthony James Donnelly.
Yeah.
And I did the illustrations for this book. I'll flip through them real quickly. But I'll be honest with you, when I look at this now, I cringe a little bit because I don't know that I really am proud of some of this artwork. But it was published.
Yeah.
And then, because of that, we had other people asking us for illustrations, including a cover of a book, Clementine's Daughter.
Yeah.
So that's my artwork on the cover. That's all I did with this book was the cover.
Yeah. Hillary Geiner Sorolla. She's a nice lady.
Wow, you
She
remember the
wanted
name.
that. Yeah, it's on the book. It's on the cover.
So tell about Wayne. Robin's
Okay.
got a story here.
There was this one gentleman that called us up one day. His name was Wayne Lister. He was a golfer, and he came up with a concept called teeples. His family originated in Scotland, where golf originated, and he came up with this whole idea about a family of golf tees, which is really cool. And so he called it teeples, and nobody steal this idea because it is still Wayne's. It is copyrighted and everything. And so he came to us and asked us if we would write a story and develop the characters, character development. So that's what this is. You've got all these different tees, all different ages, all different personalities, from children to grandparents. And that's one of the illustrations that Larry did that in watercolor, and it was very cool. So we had a lot of here's the daughter and the dad. We had we each wrote part of the story. Larry chose 2 of the tees to write for when they were interacting. I chose 2 of the tees, and then we each had our own story to tell. So really, in this book, called The Green is Not Always Grassier, there's 2 separate stories going on, but they all, it all meets together at the end.
You got a good memory.
So that's what we did.
All right, so now so now we're helping other people with books. We're working for the radio station.
Yeah.
And we have a guest come on from the local Hilton Hotel.
Yep. I-75 and 200. Beautiful.
And they asked
hotel.
us if we would do a coloring book. So here we go. Robin wrote this story.
So we did. Because what they do at the Hilton, they have their on-site Clydesdale called Buddy. And then there are 2 other thoroughbred horses on site called Rose and Marion. So we created this coloring book for the Hilton, and it was given to the children
And it didn't,
when they checked in.
and it wasn't sold with this kind of binding.
No.
Well, I don't think it was sold. I think it was given away.
It was given away to the
Right.
children, so we gave them the file, and then they had their printer print it up and solidify it the way coloring books are.
Right.
But this is how we presented it to them with our printer that we have here in town with the comb binding, because that's all we had. Same thing with the Teeple story. That's the only way we could present it, because we weren't into really self-publishing then.
Think of it as a prototype, yeah.
That's right, exactly.
All right, so then, let's see. I want to talk about walking the dogs.
Okay.
So we decided to walk the dogs.
Yeah.
I had a dog, and Robin had a dog.
Yeah, we always walked their
And we were
dogs.
walking the dogs.
Yeah, always.
And every other step, I know you know this because you have a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Every other step, the dog stops to sniff something.
Yes,
They're always sniffing.
always.
So we made the comment, boy, dogs live to sniff.
That's right.
So we said, whoa, that's a name for a book. So here we go.
It is.
Live to Sniff was our first illustrated book.
Yeah, and that was 2006. The rest was all before 2006.
So that's the cover. And let me read the first page,
Okay.
because the words are on the back, see?
Yeah.
But this is actually published in a book, but we don't have a copy.
Yeah, and this you did the artwork with colored pencil.
Yeah, this is colored
Yeah,
pencil.
colored pencil.
Or pastel
I
or
think.
something.
Pastel.
So here's the words, the first page. I've sniffed everything in this puppy box. Oh, that's for this page. I've sniffed everything in this puppy.
Oh, there you go.
I've sniffed everything in this puppy box. I've sniffed the Sunday funnies, and I've sniffed the Monday stocks. But my legs are growing quickly, and my nose can reach the top. Soon I'll think and walk and run and sniff outside this box. My human man has named me. He calls me Little Biff. He promises to train me. And he warns the rules are stiff. I love him more than anything, except and only if you count the fact that I, more than love, I truly live to sniff.
That's right.
So there we go.
And so Biff was the boy dog, and Larry wrote all the boy dog parts, and that's the font we chose for the boy dog. And then Little Miss is the girl dog. So that's Little Miss with her female owner. And this is the font, the more feminine font that we chose for Little Miss. So it was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about this book is that when we did get it self-published, our very first one through Lulu.
Lulu's a publisher, by the way.
So we had the font on one page and the picture on the other page. Well, the font looked kind of boring. So Larry created all these other different fonts to go.
Little illustrations.
Illustrations, sorry, to go with it. So, you know, you might have a apple on one and all these different ones that circled the circumference of the word. So it was really nice.
Okay. Now, another question you said is, since you were in radio, did you ever do audiobooks? Mm-hmm. Well, we showed you just now the Storybook Railroad, so
for children.
In a way, we did audiobooks, but I actually the storybook, the book I told you about earlier, called Oreo and Braun, Zob the Full Circle Quest. This is the one I wrote for my son.
Yes.
I have it somewhere in here. So this is a little sample of the audiobook, Oreo and Braun.
Cells, we'll be able to get out of this old house and live in something decent. Always dreaming, always hoping. One day, these dreams will come true. Oreo's dad was speaking to himself. Oreo's dad opened the curtains on the window over the kitchen sink to let the morning sun in.
So there you go. So that was the audiobook.
That's right.
And it's actually on Audible. So. All right, let's see. Next question.
Okay.
Okay, who did the layout? Well, we did the layout, except for the books we didn't publish ourselves. Other people did those.
Let me show them the cover on Amazon.
That's from...
Oreo and Braun, Zob, the Full Circle Quest. It's on Amazon.
Right.
There we go. Okay, go ahead.
So answer the question, who did the layout?
We did the layout ourselves.
Our own.
Yeah. You can, when you self-publish a book, you can submit your manuscript and your illustrations, and they'll lay everything out for you, but it's for an extra cost. So, of course, Larry uploaded all the illustrations, he uploaded all the narratives, and you have to, do it. You have to follow their guidelines. It takes a while to figure that out. Sometimes it's frustrating.
Right.
But otherwise, once you've got the guidelines down, then you're all set.
Yeah, we'll show you some of our mistakes, too.
Yeah.
So show them the first Robin and the Giant book that's on the floor, the idea. Because we had this idea, we were getting old. Well, we were.
After the children's show.
Or here's what, I don't want to talk behind it because the voice won't go very well.
Okay, I'll go to first we want to show them the picture.
So the Robin and the Giant concept, when we were younger, worked. But when we got older, it didn't work anymore.
No.
And so we had to create characters for a book. So you can see right here, that's Robin and the Giant in the new form, but it never went anywhere. We may have 6 or 8 pictures. Show that one. I like that next one. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
So you see what I did is I made Robin adult and me adult. Of course, I made myself as dorky as I actually am. And Robin as beautiful as she actually is. But I did these large drawings with the intent of making them into a book called Robin and the Giant Storybook Railroad, which later on, Storybook Railroad became the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
But back then, that was the working title for the book.
Yeah, better choice, because we thought the children might get bored with adults. So.
But then I thought, let's make them children. And we had this idea. So now one of your questions is, how do you start a book and how do you get your ideas.
Yeah.
So this is kind of my favorite part of the presentation today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this one.
Okay.
We got two. We got two.
Well, we do. This is the color.
Here we
That's
go.
the full color.
So the Kite Tail Wish.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this idea. Actually, I had heard about a tradition somewhere, or whatever. I don't know if you call it a tradition, but a thing people did, where they would write their wishes on fabric, and that fabric was then tied to the tail of a kite, and then you fly your kite. So if you see the picture here, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
See, there's on the tail of the kite, all of those little pieces of the tail have a wish which says dog. Dog.
They all would.
So,
God on one side and dog on the other.
right. So I want to show you how Robin and the Giant became new characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they looked when they became children. And so we made books out of Robin and the Giant. And in this particular book, they are wishing for a dog.
Yeah.
And we would discuss the book. So we write most of them together. Some of them Robin wrote by herself. When we write them together, we back and forth. We say, well, we need some action. We need something. So in this book, the dog gets loose.
You can't have a book without action in it. It just, to us, it just doesn't work.
If there's something fun that happens.
That's right. And also in our narratives, we don't use the formula of the Dick and Jane and Spot books and things. See Dick, run, see Spot, jump for the bone, or anything like that. We write as we talk to our children. And that's how I brought up my two children. We would talk in full sentences and things like that. That's how you brought up your child. You'd speak in full sentences. We never dumb down.
We don't
for
dumb
the
down.
Children. No, we
but
don't.
Anyway,
Never.
So suddenly, I'm going to read to you from the book. Suddenly, the same fluffy gray squirrel ran past the wagon, and Mocky Grable, that's the dog, Mocky Grable began chasing it again. The string that was tied to Mocky Grable's collar pulled the pink paisley kite and the red wagon with Robin still inside of it. Mocky Grable ran very fast and pulled very hard, and soon the handle of the wagon came right out of the giant's hand. The wagon rolled down the hill, and the kite started to fly, lifting up the wagon with Robin still inside of it. "Oh no," the giant yelled. "Robin, I will save you!" So
you have to have tenseness and anxiety.
All right, so talk about tenseness and anxiety. We had this idea for the book. Mm-hmm. We did it all. We decided, let's get this published. We figured out how to do it. Mm-hmm. We sent it in, and we got the sample back and showed them what happened.
Okay. Well, first, we didn't do a full bleed on the cover.
We messed up on the cover.
So, did not do a full bleed. And then...
it came back in black and white.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was all my mistake. The publisher didn't make a mistake. He did exactly what I asked him to do.
Right. And on here you can see the little boxes, the outline of the boxes.
Right.
With where the narrative is and everything. But we all fixed that. So, it's your very, very first time of doing a self-publishing all by yourself. And it's a learning experience.
Right.
Sure.
Did you use a computer program to publish the books?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I used Procreate for the illustrations and also to create the book.
Not these.
What did I use?
You didn't
For the Kite Tail Wish?
Yeah.
What did I use?
That was 2018.
What did I use?
Yeah, didn't we take pictures and upload them?
Wow.
And scan them in and upload them all because they weren't on...
well, they've all got words on
the thing.
Maybe I used Photoshop?
Yeah, you could have used Photoshop, but this is way before Procreate.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
2018.
I don't remember.
I think.
I don't remember.
Well, maybe not. Maybe you did Procreate.
All right, well, anyway, so
I
then...
remember.
So then we have a whole bunch of other books we want to share with you.
Yeah. But this is interesting, though, because this was in between the children's books.
Yeah, this is called Guardians of the Apple Tree Seedlings.
Yep.
This was the result of a challenge by an artist by the name of Jake Parker. And Jake challenges everybody to do Inktober. That's a picture a day using nothing but ink.
That's right.
So I not only
Ink
did a
and
picture,
words.
but I decided to write a story a day for the whole month of October. And the story is called Guardians of the Apple Tree Seedlings. All the pictures are in black and white. And it's just a book. It's a book for young readers, but it's just a book.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's just a fun one.
It's a wonderful book.
But all of this kind of helped us understand better how to do books. So let's show you some of the ones that so far everything is kind of like leading up to better and better. Can you tell the art is getting better?
Yeah.
Well, the words are also getting better. The story ideas are also getting better.
The Chanteuse sleigh ride. This is a great
This
one.
is the Chanteuse sleigh ride. What is a chanteuse, Robin? A chanteuse is a singer.
That's right, exactly.
And so this is a story about the singer who flies around the world on Thanksgiving Day. And from her sleigh, just like Santa Claus has a sleigh, she has a sleigh, but hers is powered by music.
That's right.
And she's got
There she
red
is.
birds that pull her sleigh, not
Yes,
reindeer.
She does.
And she travels all around the world on Thanksgiving Day, and she spreads Christmas songs. And that explains why Christmas songs are heard at Christmas time, beginning at at Thanksgiving Day. Although lately they're happening on July the 4th.
That's right. But again, we still have, anxiety and a, thing that happens that, you might not, you can tell by their faces, that it's not a smooth ride for the Chanteuse, Robin and the Giant.
All right. So now the next one is called You Count, I Count. And before you think it's about counting in the sense of 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
it's about counting in the sense of belonging and in the sense of being considered part of the family or part of the group.
And that's the mistake that we did when we put the title on the front of the book, You Count, I Count. We didn't put a subtitle, which would have been Everyone is Important.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But that is the subtitle. You count, I count, everything is important, or everyone is important.
Everyone is important. We should have put the
Show a couple of pictures from the inside.
subtitle on here.
So this is also a Robin and the Giant book, but you can tell that there are other characters in this book.
That's right.
And this is a story about a band.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was number 4.
And the band is called what?
Count.
Oh, the band is called Count,
The
right?
band is called Count. And
And the drummer feels like nobody considers him important.
that's right. Exactly.
So he runs away and they have to go find him. Otherwise the concert can't go on.
That's right. Exactly.
And we did try to
Very
include
nice.
everybody. We tried to include all the different races that are represented on planet Earth. We tried to include a person in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
We tried to include boys and girls. And we tried to be very inclusive. I know there's a political button that gets pushed when you say that, but come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
We want to respect each other.
That's right.
And so that's what that book is about. It's about you count. You count, man.
Everyone is
You're
important.
important. That's right. And then we have The Diary of Denver Pontiac.
Yep.
This is kind of a different book for us because it's illustrated, and it looks like, if you show the illustrations, it looks like it's not full bleed.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it is full bleed because each page was made to look like a page from a diary.
That's correct.
And this is the story of a man who finds his diary from when he was a child, when he was a teen. He finds the diary in the attic.
Yeah.
And he goes through his old photographs, and he's remembering all the things that happened to him in his lifetime. And he comes to the conclusion that he's happier now than he ever was then.
That's right. It's for young adults. It's for a little older reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
And the one that the kids seem to like the best
Yes.
is The Cat Who Crossed the Ocean.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
I'll let Robin tell you that story.
Okay, this is great. because there were two cats, a sister and a brother.
Semolina and
Let's
gosh,
see.
what was her name? Semolina and
Oh my gosh.
Marginal.
Marginal, yeah.
Semolina and Marginal.
So there they are, the two cute cats, Semolina and Marginal.
And one of them gets sent across the ocean.
The young one, Marginal, was adopted.
So what ocean do you think they crossed? They crossed New York Harbor.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really the ocean. It was from Staten Island to Manhattan. But to a cat, that's a whole ocean.
That's right. So the elder sister, Semolina, she wanted to find Marginal to give him the red ribbon that they love to play with right there. And she too had her trials and tribulations in order to find him. She finally found him, and guess what? I think she was adopted too.
But anyway, it was fun to do the illustrations. I know a lot of you are watching because you want to know the illustrations. So this, I definitely did this on Procreate.
Yes.
All of these pictures now. I guess I couldn't remember.
And the Shantou sleigh ride on Procreate.
Yeah, that was all on Procreate.
Yeah.
But some of them, the earlier ones were pastel and watercolor
And when you did the self-publishing button on there, you had to type in every page that was hand typed. Before the Procreate, we would upload the picture, and then you'd have to type in everything.
Well, even on Procreate,
Yeah.
you have to type it in.
Yeah. These books were tall. They're the taller books. And then when we came up with the Kinder Square Kids, which is a new genre of children for us, it's
So we got
Kinder Square
away
Kids.
from the Robin and the Giant idea,
Yeah.
and we created the Kinder Square
And
Kids.
we made these books square. And it just seems to be more receptive for the children.
Little hands.
Yeah, Christmas time in Kinder Square. Right there we've got a Christmas band. The Christmas band would not be complete without the singing dog or the cymbal crashing mouse. Receiving a Christmas card in the mail is a special something to look forward to. So the Kinder Square Kids were happy. We did this one.
I like that cover.
Yeah.
All right, and then this
We
one.
did 3 books in 2021. Christmas time in Kinder Square was the first one because we had to get it out by the summertime so it would be released in time for Christmas. This one, Kinder Square Kids Shadow the Swan Doctors. This is pretty cool because it's based on actual events at Lake Eola
In Orlando.
in Orlando, Florida. And the veterinarians come out every year,
Look at that kid.
donate their time.
So Robin wrote
And,
this. This is one I did not write with Robin.
Yeah, so it's so
Robin did all the research
it's so
on
nice.
the program at Lake Eola and how they have a doctor out there to take care of the swans.
Yeah, we had to do that. You got to be accurate if it's a nonfiction book. This is our other book in 2021, Winter Kinder, When It Snows in Kinder Square. That's this one.
Yeah.
And this is a wonderful book. And all of the character development was very important. So all of the Kinder Square kids all look the same in every book. Their personalities. It's I love this one because she's all wrapped up.
And has to go to the
He has to
bathroom.
go to the bathroom, and I remember those days coming from Milwaukee. Then in 2022,
Got a
we wrote
Florida
4.
book.
Yeah.
She sells seashells. Oh, I thought you were going to show that one.
Okay, yeah.
Got 2 Florida books.
Yeah, we wrote 4 books in 2022. This is the book that features an adult. She sells seashells. And they're talking about all of the different seashells that can be found on the beaches.
You know, I just realized, show that picture. She kind of looks like
This
Taylor
one?
Swift.
Oh, I guess she
I
does.
did. I promise I did not use Taylor Swift as a model.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought about that. But we also did research on the seashells and everything. And so that way, this is the artwork in the book. And the little sea critters and everything.
So somebody asked about the character development. How do we develop the characters?
Yeah.
Well, kind of we do that together. Not only how they look, but how they behave.
It's the end.
Yeah, what kind of people are the different characters?
Oh, sure. And then
the show.
and then we dedicated the back to all the different shells that were found in the book with their names. We did a lot of research on this too, so we would have the right ones.
Now, this is the one. This is the one where they write back and forth.
That's right.
So,
our Florida backyard.
So listen to the idea here. The idea here was to talk about Florida from the perspective of two friends. And they are writing to each other on each page.
Marion and Fernandina.
Marion and Fernandina.
Yeah.
There they are floating down the river.
Yeah. You go. I'll just show the pictures.
I want to read one of them.
Okay.
Now, so here they are. That looks like they're in Silver Springs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking down the glass bottom boat.
Yes.
And it says, "Dear Fernandina, your mom is absolutely right. We had such fun jumping in the puddles during the sun shower. But that didn't deter our visit to see the wonders under the sea. Your springs are so crystal clear. Who knew that we could see all those different fish up close and without getting wet?" And there's more, of course, to it. But that was the idea. And so that was one character writing to the other one.
And you wrote for one and I wrote for the other one. So it worked out really nice.
So the next page, for example, "Dear Marion, I did say we wouldn't get wet in Silver Springs. Guess I left out the part that we would get very wet at Rainbow Springs." See, it's very close to home. "I was a little worried that you might not get into that inner tube, but you did." And so that's how we wrote that one, with each of the two girls writing to the other.
Yeah, and you wrote for one and I wrote for the other one.
Yes, including picking oranges.
That's right. We actually did that. Sea Turtle Guardians. This is a really, really nice book. Did a lot of research on that. We have sea turtle rescue called, it's the Loggerhead Marine Life Center in Juneau, Florida. And they do rescue sea turtles. And so we did a lot of research on that. And the illustrations are fabulous. See, they found a wounded sea turtle on the beach, and they called the sea turtle rescue people to come and get them. There we go. And it's really nice because they do include the children when they have sea turtle releases. They make it public, and the people, all can come and do that. It's a wonderful book.
So you got a few more.
What else? This one is fun.
Kinder Square Wildlife Cam. We did a book where two children actually produce a podcast.
Yep. Bardo and Erwina.
Right. And they talk about the different animals that they can find on different podcasts. Mm-hmm. And this is one that Robin actually watches, where it shows the eagle nest.
That's right. There's Erwina. And Bardo, he found it in South Africa. He talks about it. Very clever how it's done, because you have the animals and then you have the bubbles that they're talking through. So you know that that's the bubbles, and there's the artwork.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I like that one.
I do too.
Okay, so I went through a period where I was illustrating animals playing musical instruments. Mm-hmm. I want to tell you something, that this is way before AI.
Oh, yeah.
And so now I notice that people who are using AI are doing similar pictures, but none of this was AI, I promise you.
No.
So this book is called The Harmony of Beasts.
In 2022, as you got the Afghan hound on the piano, you've got the stag playing the bagpipes in Scotland. You've got the folk singing beaver. That's pretty much fun.
And this one rhymes, by the way. This whole book rhymes.
Yeah. The sousaphone seahorse. It's one of my favorites. You got the raccoon. Let me find the accordion guy.
The accordion, the gorilla. Oh, yeah.
You've got the bongo puppy. You got the bugler bloodhound. Here you go.
There we go.
The squeeze box orangutan. So we have pictures on one side and the poetry on the opposite side.
Can I read the very last page? Because I think that's sums up what this book is about.
Okay.
It says, and there's the picture of the dog with the mouse playing guitar.
Yes.
And the last page says, now you know that everything just wants to play along. They all have special instruments. They all have special songs. And somehow, like a giant band, from greatest to the least, the beauty of our planet Earth is the harmony of beasts. That's what this book is about.
Yeah.
This book is about how God made us so that we can all live in harmony with one another. The beasts do, even if the lion does eat the elk.
Well, that's,
It's part of it.
it's part of it. It's part of the
All right,
food
what else
chain.
we got here?
This is your idea, The Mouse Who Changed Christmas. And this is it's a true story.
Sort of.
It's a true story. Well,
So
Yeah.
it's the book about how Silent Night was written.
Mm-hmm.
The true story is that the organ at the church wasn't working because there was a hole in the bellows, because the organ was a foot pump organ. But this story isn't as much about that as it is about how that hole got in there. It was a mouse. A mouse chewed a hole in the bellows. That's actually true.
yeah.
But of course, we made it into a character.
And the mouse is called Maximilian, and the priest is a friend of the mouse, so he makes sure, he keeps the mouse warm during winter time.
So the mouse knew that the priest had written a beautiful poem called Silent Night. And he said there really needs to be music. There really needs to be music to that poem. So he said the music must come from that thing that he plays. So the mouse went inside the organ and he found the bellows. And he said, that's where the music is. It's in those bellows. Let me chew a hole in it and get one of those pieces of music out of there and give it to the priest. And he will then put that with Silent Night and we'll have a full song.
Yeah.
But he did not know that once he chewed a hole in the bellows that the organ wouldn't work.
That's right.
And so the priest had to go to his friend, and this is a true story here,
It
had to go
is.
to his friend who played guitar, and the guitar friend put a melody to his words.
Yeah.
And of course, it's just fun for children.
It is. It's very fun.
So in the meantime, we also did a book of illustrations for Pastor Jeffrey Shanks and his wife Annette Shanks.
Yes.
And that book is called Grandma's Music Box.
Yep.
And this was a fun one to do. So Robin and I did not write this one, but I was asked by the pastor and his wife to illustrate this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it took from January to July to do the illustrations,
Yes.
or maybe from February. I think they asked us in January,
Uh-huh.
and I got started in February, and then in July we were done with the illustrations, and then we had to put it together. So this is a really cool story that they wrote about a music box that holds a special place in their heart, and it also tells the story of Christmas and the story of the birth of Jesus. So
Yeah, and it is a true story. It's based on Annette Shanks growing up with her brothers, and then sharing that story with her grandchildren.
all right, so we have this question which I don't know how to answer. How much money do you make from the books?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I honestly don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, if I had that number in front of me, I don't think I'd want to share that number.
Yeah,
So just if you don't mind.
that's right.
But put it this way, some people do really, really well,
Mm-hmm.
and some people say they don't make anything.
Yeah.
So I really think, having a radio background, which is basically an advertising medium,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to advertise, and that doesn't mean you have to pay. You could advertise on Facebook, etc. But marketing is probably the key.
Yeah, because when you self-publish a book, it's all up to you. You have to get the word out somehow. You have to go to your local library and say, hey, I wrote this book. Can I have a spot on your author interviews on the library? And usually they'll set you up with a few different authors that have different books, and they'll make it an event. they'll do the marketing for you to tell, you know, the public that this is an event the library's putting on.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing.
I also have a question here. Which self-publisher do you like the best?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've only used 4 self-publishers.
Uh-huh.
One was called Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
One was called Ingram Spark.
Yes.
One was called KDP,
Uh-huh.
which is the Amazon one.
Yeah.
And what was the 4th one?
Oh, gosh.
Lightning Press.
That's it, Lightning Press.
And then there was Lightning
yeah.
Press. So
Yeah.
of those, well, actually, I think I'm going to tell you that I like KDP the best.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it's so flexible and you can have so much control over it. But you can with the others also. Oh, I forgot Lulu.
No, you said Lulu.
Did I say Lulu?
Yeah.
Lulu, Ingram Spark,
Mm-hmm. Lightning Press.
Lightning Press,
And KDP.
KDP.
That's 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Lulu was our first one.
and I think this was Lulu.
Yep.
So they did a really good job.
And Live to Sniff was Lulu.
Yeah, so they do a really good job. I just think I had more control after the fact with changing things and then making the audiobooks
Uh-huh.
was a lot, to each his own. But then there's also the other publishers that will work with you if you pay them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trafford Publishing is one that we've heard good things about. And,
Yeah. And a few others.
And I don't really know all of them. But
Have to do your research.
do your research.
Outskirts
Yes.
Press is a good one.
How many pages do you recommend for a children's book?
Mm-hmm.
What's the number we go by?
I think it was 32, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. I think it's about 32.
32.
Yeah.
Do you prefer hardcover or soft?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Well, we have both.
We have both. I think for the children, I love the soft cover books because they're so easy to hold.
Yeah, they're flexible. And this is the hardcover of You Count, I Count. And it's the longer version, but I think the
I like
soft
the
cover
small-
on the squares.
I like the small square,
Yeah.
nice, easy to hold,
Mm-hmm.
easy to show, like if you're reading to the kids,
Yeah.
easy to show.
Yeah. So
Um,
it's really, really good.
what medium do you use for the illustrations? Well, I think we talked about that. I used pastel, I've used acrylic, I've used watercolor, I've used pen and pencil and
Yep.
ink,
Yep. Pointillism.
and then I've used digital.
Yes.
And Procreate probably is the one I use the most for the digital formats.
And there were a couple of schools here in our later years because they did know that we wrote, and we also write songs and do music, like we said earlier. But Larry created 2 books out of watercolor.
Oh no!
Adorable.
Oh
A
no!
love song for kids who are different.
Wait a minute!
So you created this. This was just so
Adorable.
wonderful.
Let me see if I
Because
can
this
find-
was for
It's for the Children's Craniofacial Society
Children's Craniofacial Society.
Association or something like that.
Yeah, CCA kids, I'm pretty sure.
CCA kids, yeah.
And the children, they're just absolutely, absolutely wonderful. CCA kids.
Yeah, these are all kids with physical problems on their faces usually, or their skulls.
Correct.
And Robin and I worked with them for a few years.
And you wrote the song Adorable.
Adorable, yeah.
Yeah, and you did the book. And then we did, Larry wrote the Dancing Critters song, which was really nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a story about Farmer Justin. He had a wife.
You gotta
named
show it. You
Marge.
gotta show it.
Yep, see, this one.
Oh
The
gosh.
Dancing Critters song, and we had a great time with the kids.
This was a live thing.
A live show, yeah. This was wonderful, and it was just the kids loved it because they all got to do special sound effects and things like that with all of the stuff that we brought in, our Christmas bells, our maracas, everything, and that was a lot of fun.
So we already touched on this one, but how long does it take to write a book?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to illustrate a book?
I think as long as you push yourself.
How long did it take you to write the longest book Not the one with the compilation, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. How long do you think it took?
But I would say about 2 days.
2 days.
2 or 3 days, right? Because don't we sit there? I mean,
But then we rework them.
you know, the harmony of beats. You get all the concept there.
I was going to say a couple of months, because we go back and forth. Like right now, we're working on one for a couple of months
Oh, that's right.
for this Christmas. So what you're saying is
Yeah.
the first layout
Yeah.
before we hack it out back and forth.
Yeah, because you have to have just a general thing, beginning, middle, and end, and then you got to get the personalities in your head of the characters. So then you got to start writing for each character as to how would each character speak and things like that. So you're right. Yeah, a few months for that. That's why it's so important you got to be diligent now, because once a person says they're going to write anything, write a book,
Well,
or illustrate a book, if you don't keep following through every day, it's not going to get done.
and then how long does it take to illustrate? I would say I sit in my chair and Robin and I watch a movie and then I illustrate, for example, this one, and I would say that it probably is a day, or if I put it into hours, maybe 9-10 hours
For one picture.
for one illustration, and then I'll come back to it like, tomorrow or whatever and tweak it and look for the mistakes and look for the inconsistencies and make sure it fits the story. So
Oh yeah, it has to fit the story, and
And-
you've got to keep.
and the only other thing I want to mention is this, that I've also illustrated for other people besides us and besides Pastor and Mrs. Shanks. Those are commissioned. We get paid to do them,
yes.
and I have no idea where they are. I can't find them on Amazon or anything, but I've illustrated whole books
Yeah.
for people, and I don't know if they don't list me as the illustrator. I think they don't. I think they just put out the book, and now with AI, that's why we don't get any calls anymore.
Yeah.
They're probably using AI to illustrate books now. So
Sure. So we do our own.
anyway,
I like to write.
hopefully that answered the questions that you might have had about being an illustrator, being a children's book author. Anything else?
Just that these are your stories, and to make sure they're exactly the way it is that you want them to be, because once you put them in print, they're going to be there forever, using your words.
Right.
And you have to market it yourself. You have to look at all of the avenues in your backyard and see what would be a good fit for you to market your own book and beyond.
Even if you have a budget, here's a word of warning. If you pay an agency to do all of the legwork for you as far as marketing, you might have a good one, or you might have a lazy one. You'll never know.
Yeah.
You really have to stay on top of it, and you really have to do it yourself. A couple of ideas: social media, radio shows, TV, like local TV shows. See if you can get a spot on a TV show and talk about your book.
Yeah, to be interviewed, sure. And look at what's going on at the public library, because most of all the public libraries have programs. They feature authors, they feature illustrators,
Right.
and they will build something around you.
All right. I think we're done.
I do too.
All right, kids, take care, and we'll see you later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Bye.